Hey everyone, and welcome back to my Daily News X. And I'm your host Kramer. Today we're breaking down a story that's hitting millions of American households right where it hurts. The government is running out of money to fund the SNAP benefits program, known as food stamps. Now, if you rely on this program, or you know someone who does, you want to stay tuned because this, what's happening right now, could ripple throughout the economy, our airports, and even your grocery bill. So yes, the SNAP crisis and what's happening, I'm going to give you a big picture so you can understand better the situation. The federal government has run out of options and nearly out of funds to keep the supplemental nutritional assistance program going and running. So right now, we're talking about 42 million Americans, roughly. That's 1 in 8 people that depend on the SNAP's benefits to put food on the table for their families and friends. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says the contingency money that normally bridges funding gaps is almost gone. So that's what they're saying right now. Without a new legislation, benefits for November and December are in big, serious danger. To give you a better idea and understanding, to run the program costs around $8 billion a month. Just to float the idea. The emergency account can cover only about 2/3 of that. So we're talking about $5 to $6 billion only. So unless Congress acts, payments could stop or shrink drastically in the coming weeks. So that's what's going on. And this isn't just about food, guys. When people lose benefits, local economies take a hit. Grocery stores, delivery services, even small town markets, they all feel the pain. Every SNAP dollar spent usually generates about $1.50 in local economy activity. So yes, this is huge, guys. It's a whole big chain of reaction from one grocery store to another, to a Walmart, you name it. I want to talk about other programs that are also a risk because the SNAP isn't the only program on a shaky ground, just to let you know. With the ongoing government shutdown, our social safety net systems are at risk too, believe it or not. We're talking about Medicaid because Medicaid could face delays in reimbursements, especially for smaller state-run clinics. We also have child nutrition programs, just in case you didn't know, like free and reduced price of school lunches. Many lose their December funding if stalemate continues in the program. Also, we could see even the federal housing assistance is a risk, which means millions could face uncertainty paying rent or utility support. So yes, these programs form the backbone for low-income families. And without funding, that safety net starts to tear apart. All right, so I want to talk about what some of the judges did because they stepped in on Friday, 2 of them, and I want to mention what they actually said to the Trump administration. So 2 federal judges stepped in and demanded the Trump administration act immediately to keep the SNAP program funded, even during shutdown. One judge ordered the administration to release contingency funds right away so families wouldn't wake up without food assistance on November 1st. So yes, that's what he did. Also on the other side, we have another judge who called the administration delay unlawful and reckless. That's what he said actually. Saying the government still has the legal obligation to deliver those benefits. But so far, the administration has only confirmed partial compliance. That means some states may still face interruptions in payments unless Congress approves more funding for these programs. All right, so I want to talk about also what Trump actually said in the media news as of last night, and what was the message to the Republicans and the Senate. Mr. President Donald Trump made headlines this week with a fiery message, aimed most likely and squarely at the Senate and Republicans. He called on them to use the Trump card, his words, and eliminates the Senate filibuster rule altogether. So the rule is what requires 60 votes to pass most majority bills. And Trump says it's standing on the way of Congress. So yes. In his social media post, he wrote, "It is time to get rid of the filibuster now before our country is destroyed." Here's the twist, guys, on this. Many Senate Republicans are not on board. They're saying ending the filibuster could actually backfire later. So giving the Democrats unchecked power when they're back in control. So even with the government, there's a major division in how to handle the funding crisis. That's what's happening. So, all right, so let's talk about who's actually being affected directly from all this chaos and crisis and what's going on, and who's feeling the actual squeeze right now. Again, we're talking about 42 million people that rely heavily on SNAP benefits, families, seniors, and veterans who could lose access to basic groceries. On top of that, we have around 60,000 air traffic controllers and TSA agents are still showing up to work without paychecks because of the shutdown. The unions are warning that morale and safety could drop fast if pay isn't restored very soon. Some lawmakers are trying to pass an emergency bill just to make sure these essential workers get paid during the shutdown. Some airlines are stepping in and they're actually providing food and meals to these employees, by the way. But nothing has cleared both chambers yet. No negotiations, there's no talk, there's no final agreement. We're still going around in circles. So what to expect in the next 2 weeks, and what happens now from now on? Well, you can expect 3 things to happen. One thing for sure, court pressure. Judges could issue further orders requiring the government to fund not just the SNAP, but also Medicaid and housing programs during the shutdown. We can also expect congressional negotiations, meaning lawmakers are likely to push for a short-term spending bill and continuing resolution, just to keep programs running and alive while they fight over the long-term deals in the backseat, basically. Number 3 thing we can expect, economic fallout. If SNAP and other programs stop, economists warn of a sharp spike in food insecurity and potential slowdowns in local economies right before the holidays. So yes, this can also happen in the future if things that don't get done and on time. For federal workers like controllers and TSA agents, pay may be delayed until the shutdown ends, meaning we could see airport delays and staffing shortages if people can afford to keep showing up and unpaid. All right, so just finish this podcast, and what are my closing thoughts on this, and where does this leave us, with all this chaos and crisis? So we are at crossroads. Government low on funds, political divisions in overdrive, and millions of America just caught in the middle of this whole thing. The next 2 weeks are going to be critical. Will Congress come together for a stopgap solution? We don't know. Or will the standoff drag on, depending on the impact on everyday people? We're about to see. Whatever happens, this story affects everyone, from the dinner table to the departure gate, believe it or not. All right, guys, so this is all for today on my Daily News X. Please stay informed, stay prepared, and remember, these issues aren't just headlines. They're real lives. Well, I'm your host, Kramer. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next time with more updates on what's next for Americans' working families and the fight to keep our government running. Have yourself a great day.